there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hi. Oh man, this is gonna be fun preparing for the next set of integrated strategy stuff. Like, woohoo! No fear, no pain. Especially with tonight's operators, Ines, Hoederer, W, and Wiš'adel. So woohoo! Oh man, I'm excited for these ones. But now let me make sure everything's running properly. Test. Okay, yep. Everything's fine. Woohoo! And now for Ines. Steer. And yeah, I'm seeing the messages. It's just for some reason it's not popping up over here. Let me see if I can get that to be better. Like, oi. Why you acting up, chat? Dang. It might fix itself, but at least I can see on my side. You know, this is just adding on more scuff luck, as one do. And look at how majestic Ines looks. Like, dang, she's so cool. So without further ado... Ines. Basic info. Code name Ines. Gender female. Combat experience 19 years. That is a good amount of combat experience. Holy cow. Like, good for you, Ines. Place of birth, Casdell. Date of birth, February 19. Race, undisclosed. I like how it's undisclosed. Hey, hello. Oh man, you've been tired all week. Oh, I know the feeling. Like, gosh darn, it's just been so hot. And heck, at work it was kind of funny because my boss left early. So I was the boss. But I was a good worker. I stayed till I stayed till I had to. I behaved. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna hold the fort down. Plus, anyways, work is cooler than at home, so that was kind of nice. Being able to just not be sent home as well. I was kind of worried, like, I don't want to go home just yet. So woohoo! And now back here. Height, 168 centimeter. Infection status, confirmed infected by medical examination. Ooh! True, since Wiš'adel is a confirmed chairman. I wonder if she would, you know, try to hire Hoederer and Ines. Or not, she's gonna be Hoederer's, like, VIP client when he opens up his bakery. Like, oh, that's gonna be funny. I love it. Oh yeah, that reminds me, I still gotta update my game. Like, oh man. 3 Dan Hung instead of Honkai Star Rail. I also gotta input all those codes. I need my Stellar Jades. Especially since I only got 1 copy of Saber so far. She's been playing so hard to get. I want to max Saber. I want to max her light cone. But I'm trying to, like, minimize the amount, like, I spend in order to do that. So that's why it's been taking a while. Like, oh, Saber. And now physical exam. Physical strength standard. Mobility excellent. Physical resilience excellent. Tactical acumen standard. Combat skill standard. Originium arts simulation excellent. Profile. Former Sarkaz mercenary Ines. She briefly participated in Casdel's chaotic civil war until faking her death and disappearing during the Chernobog incident. She proceeded to conceal her tracks, but ultimately re-established contact with Rhodes Island during the Londinium incident. The details of her experiences in the meantime remain unverifiable, but with Ascalon's guarantee, she ultimately signed strategic cooperation terms with Rhodes Island. Clinical analysis. Imaging tests show the indistinct outlines of internal organs obscured by abnormal shadows. Originium granules detected in the circulatory system. The subject is confirmed to be infected with uropathy. Cell originium simulation, 11%. Ines' infection shows on her body, but she refuses to do any cosmetic concealment. Like, she looks fine even without the cosmetic concealment. Like, you go, Ines. Interesting. A new remake of Danganronpa 2. Huh. I wonder what's gonna be better, the remake or the original? Oh, and apparently just as long as the original game. Blood Originium crystal density 0.21. Due to her prolonged activities in the Kazo region and extended exposure to the wilderness, Ines' infection status was predictable. However, much like W, her being infected did not cause her much trouble. Our medical operators attempted multiple times to assist her with comprehensive examinations in order to formulate an appropriate treatment plan. Unfortunately, her indifferent attitude, neither resisting nor cooperating, greatly frustrated the confidence of our colleagues in medical. Especially when the examinations finally reached the crucial data collection phase, she would mysteriously vanish like a ghost and remain absent for a long time afterward. Out of concern for the operator's well-being, we've reached out to her supervisory personnel in hopes of gaining assistance. A medical operator. Rejected. She knows the score. Operator Ascalon. Wow. Archive File 1. When Ines first came to Rhodes Island, many colleagues were intrigued by this enigmatic operator who seemed to appear and disappear at will. Most share the same question. What kind of woman could fight alongside W for such a long time? And so, many of them attempted to approach her, but the result was many expert trackers among the Lupos returning empty-handed. They could not determine Ines' whereabouts. As the number of failed attempts increased, the operators on the ship started taking the Find Ines game more seriously. Oh, they're just having fun with her. After all, not everyone would willingly admit that the Sarkaz mercenary, who spent so much time in the wilds, possessed recon and counter-recon skills surpassing our well-trained operators. Interviews with the participants all mentioned shadowy marks deliberately left by Ines during their attempts to track her. Wow, and she's trolling too. Hey, hello. These marks laid bare what they held dear or feared deep in their hearts. There are no secrets before her, making the operators both fearful and grave when dealing with her. In recent days, Dr. Kelsey finally intervened to put an end to these games. However, a simple tracking investigation is the least effective approach. I believe my understanding of Ines far surpasses that of the others. Wow. Danganronpa 2x2 or 2x2? That's actually kind of cute. I re-examined the progression of the entire incident and realized that most are drawn by Ines' outstanding abilities and overlooked two major doubts. Doubt 1. Despite her extensive experience in intelligence work, she couldn't possibly have immediately familiarized herself with the full layout of the ship upon her arrival at Rhodes Island, let alone better than the operators who had lived on board for years. I speculate that Ines must have boarded the ship a long time ago, possibly spending a significant period of time here. Considering she faked death records, I also have a bolder hypothesis. Doubt 2. While there is a wide variety of recorded Sarkaz originium arts, there are few accounts of mind-probing or emotional interference. Moreover, such arts are more prevalent in certain areas of Athenian. However, Ines has been active in the Kazo region for a long time, indicating a more direct connection. Thus, I started my investigation with Ines' former partner, W. I cross-referenced logs and documents in the archive for major events over the past decade and, remarkably, found Ines' presence in each of them. During all these events, she's always stayed clear of the center of action, but seemed to be restrained by an inescapable force, preventing her from truly breaking free. Perhaps, I need to request a higher clearance to investigate further. I feel like I'm getting close to uncovering Ines' secrets. Yo, the one who wrote this file, they are so invested. Like, sheesh. Okay. Sounds good for Ascalon and Paul. And I feel like Ines could have fun just doing everything. Part-time at Rhodes Island, part-time with Hoederer, guys. Like, teehee. Oh, they remade the game from ground up with portraits having live 2D animations. Oh dang! That is a major upgrade then. Classified log. Ines initiated contact with this overly curious desk worker, who subsequently abandoned further investigation. This record has been requested to be filed and sealed. I've reassigned him to a department where he can better utilize his talents. This is also to prevent him from causing similar issues for other operators. Beep. Aw, he got too close to the truth. He flew too close to the sun. Dang, poor dude. I didn't see all the Nintendo Direct stuff, but I am excited for the new Pokemon game. I love Ditto. Ditto's my favorite Pokemon, and if I can be the Ditto, heck yeah. Though it makes me wonder, like, the beginning's kind of ominous. I'm like, why? Like, why the abandoned Pokedex covered in dirt? I'm like, oh no, what happened to Trainer-san? Oof. Archive File 2. Unlike your run-of-the-mill wandering sarcasm mercenaries, Ines has changed teams a few times in her lengthy career. Betrayal and animosity were common in the Scar market, yet regardless of how her employers changed, Ines always seemed loyal to her partner, Hoederer. Whether the word loyalty accurately describes it or not, Ines has refused to reveal more about their personal relationships. Since the Victoria incident, Rhodes Island's contact with the Sarkaz forces has become more frequent. Ordinary operators were not aware of that background, but for those of us who have been with Dr. Kelsey and Amia for some time, seeing an old acquaintance didn't feel nostalgic, so much as heavy. Anonymous Sarkaz operator. Ines may be too shy to say it, but not Hoederer. I've heard the story of how they met, and they were probably just teenagers at the time. The Sarkaz don't really observe anniversaries, nor are they particularly aware of deaths or aware of dates in battle. But I guess Ines still remembers those days. She remembers how she, in the White Birch Forest, was forced to stain her hands with fresh blood, how she survived by hook and crook. She remembers how that Sarkaz youth, with a knife suddenly descended from the sky, coldly counting bodies, calculating bounties, and unexpectedly extending a hand to her. When Hoederer talks about these things, his expression doesn't change at all. He talks like he's recounting a war story. He doesn't even blush. Okay, the person writing this one is just like, I ship Hoederer and Ines. How dare he act so casual about this? Their cute little origin story. He doesn't even blush. Whoever was writing Ines' files are having so much fun. Like, all of them. In any case, shortly thereafter, Ines became Hoederer's right-hand woman, even though the young Hoederer didn't have his own team at the time. According to him, after leaving the White Birch Forest, Ines spent each day honing her skills physically and also modifying them with arts, all to become a true Sarkaz. What? Invading an employee's privacy? Do you really think it's beneficial for Rhodes Island when a Sarkaz mercenary uses privacy as an excuse to conceal her history and relationships? That's called due diligence. Furthermore, they've been partners for so many years and have even worked with Ascalon and Scout. You make it sound like all that can stand her raps. Huh? Via retaliation? Her arts? Oh my. In an office shadow stepping contest, only Ascalon can beat me. Wait, do your arts not require contact with shadows? Beep. Ines has always maintained a certain distance from other mercenaries and operators. Her Originium arts make her uniquely skilled at knowing how to treat others with caution, especially in the battlefield. But Ines doesn't preclude herself from interpersonal interactions because of this. She understands well the benefits that come with investing trust in the right people, and her arts happen to be adept at screening up for trust. Therefore, during the Castle Civil War, Ines' skills as a spy were without equal. Her nurturing of informants and orchestration of defections weren't always impeccable. Perhaps Rhodes Island doesn't have need of these brutal methods right now, but I hope the doctor recognizes her abilities as a soldier, not just an operator, and will manage to win her trust. She used to be very distrustful of who you were then. By the way, among the Rhodes Island operators that the doctor's familiar with, Scout was among the first to earn Ines' trust. As for Chernobog, Ines will will one day clarify things herself. I won't speak for her. Ascalon. Haha, the Night in the White Birch Forest, that's too good. Need a copy of this. Let Kelsey know for me. Anonymous access record. Even though I can guess who did it, HR gave up the investigation for security reasons. Wow. Archive File 3. Classified log. From the moment she pulled me out of the blaze in Ostrigborrow, I noticed that her shadow flickered in the flames. She still tries to present herself like she was, but doesn't work on me. You've changed her to some extent, for sure, even though she remains unaware of the change and tries to evade the impact it's had on her. I'm different. Working with you won't change me, so give up trying to influence my perspective on you or on that crown on the shard. I'm just trying to survive in the cracks of the battlefield. Your grand ambitions don't interest me at all. Still, I care about how you treat W. We trusted you once and let her stay by your side, but we both know what happened. I have a responsibility to my people. It's a set of outdated rules we mercenaries have to keep to. I've always tried to understand what it means to be a Sarkaz. Thanks to Hoederer, I overthink a lot of things I shouldn't, but it's only clarified in one goal: to stay alive. W is obtuse. She never realized the implications of her Sarkaz identity, what she bears. She dedicates too little time to reflection, blindly adopting that elusive ideal as her purpose in life. You guided her down that path, but I don't think you've really thought through the consequences it might have on her again. Your shadow tells me you have your own plans, and you better know where she stands in them. Humph. I'm not asking for your word. That's not worth much to a Sarkaz. As long as she insists, I'll trust you once again. But this time, I'll be there by her side. The both of us will. I'm just a mercenary. The most brutal price I can pay is to be broken and shattered one more time. Luckily, I'm familiar enough with the experience that it doesn't scare me anymore. Yes, you can take this as a threat. That's exactly how I intended it. Words from Ines to the doctor. She's so sweet and W. Really? No foolin'? Did W bribe her? Closure. Closure, what's with the backseated commentary? Dang, girl. But that is sweet. Archive File 4. Ines always has one piece of advice for operators heading to Castle for the first time. Don't get hung up on Castle's friction with Rhodes Island's values. The long-standing conflicts in the Castle region have bred a thriving trade of opportunistic arms smuggling. Smugglers are eager to incite various mercenary factions through covert manipulation or direct bounties. However, these foreigners walking the paths of Casdell have also become lucrative prey for mercenaries. Many arms smugglers from Lithuania and small contractors from Colombia have gambled everything only to be left empty-handed after a raid. As in Casdell, Ines had her share of such operations. She once witnessed her team swiftly wipe out a convoy of Lithuanian smugglers, leaving behind only a Capernaum boy. Such displaced foreign children in Casdell are not rare. After their parents' death, they hold no value. Sarkaz aren't inclined to bother with them, either leaving them to fend for themselves or driving them to the harsh northern forests to experience the land's cruelty. Sarkaz mercenaries revel in such entertainment. There must be someone to exact revenge for the flames these smugglers help fan, and these bewildered young outsiders often make the best targets. As for the Capernaum boy, Ines did what a Sarkaz should. She gave him two choices: stay by his parents' corpses and perish, or be thrown into the solitude of the northern birch forest to die alone. Why not give the boy a chance? He's no threat. Only a Sarkaz can survive in Casdell. Before I tossed him into the forest, I gave him a file to use. His one lifeline. Perhaps Rhodes Island can save the unfortunate souls before us, but what about those we can't even perceive? Our abilities are ultimately limited. The chaos of Casdell is like a vortex, drawing in all ambitious ripples, brewing greater waves, waiting to engulf everything. Stow the excess sympathy, at least until the day when the war ends for real. And for those operators doubting the authenticity of Ines' words, she'd recommend they take a trip to the northern birch forests. The only difference between me and that Capernaum is I walked out of the forest and survived to this day. I learned from it. She describes it as a place filled with not only bones and beauty, but also traces of the many who tried to survive. In those forest lies the secret to surviving in Casdell. It's not every time that someone comes to your rescue. Ines concludes softly. Promotion record. How does it feel to stand here now? Not great. I'm not exactly the guard type. I'm more comfortable in my old role, but it's convenient enough to do things like this for now. Please don't see yourself as a guard. Considering the situation, she's not entirely ready yet, and this is the best choice. You can tell it to Ascalon, but you changed a lot. Your shadow used to be full of complex emotions that were hard to decipher, but now, calm? You're still not that likable. No wonder W prefers to spend time with that goddess. How do you perceive everything before you? Do you want to hear Sarka's answer or my genuine thoughts? ... One's word does not mean much. Sarka's history has proven that lots of times. War will come again sooner or later. The question is, who will be the next spark? Next time, you better think carefully about where you want to stand. Like, dang. Yeah, it looks like she spends time with Amiya, which is pretty cute. It's like, Amiya's interesting. I like hanging out with her. Teehee. And I appreciate that. Like, that's pretty adorable. But oh man, I wonder what kind of trouble they get up to. Like, if Amiya's having fun as well, or she's like, I feel like I'm babysitting. But nah, she'll be fine. They're adorable. And now for Hoederer. Hoederer does look cool as well, but aw man. I did like that other sprite of him. So hello, Hoederer. Yeah, he got that cake. He's caked up. Prepare to open a bakery, right? Basic info. Codename Hoederer. Gender male. Combat experience 21 years. Oh dang. Ines had 19 years. Hoederer has 21 years. Very impressive. Place of birth, Casdell. Date of birth, April 22. Hello, fellow April baby. Race, Sarkaz. Height, 185 centimeters. Infection status, confirmed infected by medical examination. Physical exam, physical strength standard, mobility standard, physical resilience standard, tactical acumen excellent, combat skill excellent, Originium arts assimilation excellent. Profile. The early career of former Sarkaz mercenary Captain Hoederer is unclear. He participated in the transfer of Babel as part of the guard detail, leaving after Babel was dismantled. He was then spotted at Chernobog alongside Ines and W as a mercenary hired by Reunion, before disappearing after the Chernobog incident. His next appearance was as a member of the military commission in Londinium. After obtaining certain key information, Hoederer left them and re-established contact with Rhodes Island, once again signing a memorandum of strategic cooperation with us after discussions with Amiya. Clinical analysis. Imaging tests show the indistinct outlines of internal organs obscured by abnormal shadows. Originium granules detected in the circulatory system. The subject is confirmed to be infected with uropathy. Cell originium assimilation, 15%. Hoederer shows obvious symptoms of infection, but he has declined medical recommendation for further examination. Blood originium crystal density, 0.27. Having spent extended periods in Casdell and other battlefields, Hoederer's condition is serious, but he does not seem concerned about his status as infected. Perhaps, for Sarkaz mercenaries living near Casdell, uropathy is as much a part of their everyday life as their weapons. Archive File 1. For most young operators, a Sarkaz in Casdell usually means someone you should stay well away from. The behavior of some of our operators has undoubtedly contributed to this thinking. There is an impression that Casdell is a place filled with people like W or Flamebringer, and even Mudrock can seem imposing in her thick and heavy armor. Hoederer's arrival has changed some of these preconceptions, not to say that he isn't dangerous, as his performance in battle and his sheer muscles clearly demonstrate, But there is something different about him. Mercenaries who spend their lives in the battlefield killing for a living are often rough or cold, living in the moment and indulging in pleasures like there's no tomorrow. Hoederer, however, lives by a strictly regimented schedule. While at Rhodes Island, he will show up at the training room at 5:30 a.m. every day. Oh my goodness, so early! And do strength training for 1.5 hours before having breakfast, usually boiled fowl beast. He has also been seen asking Hibiscus to put together a healthy menu for him. He even asks Hibiscus to help with the food. Bro is so healthy. He will then spend the rest of the morning reading, take a quick break around noon, and spend the entire afternoon in combat training. This is obviously very different from his lifestyle as a mercenary, but he seems to enjoy it. Perhaps he desires to feel in control of his life, compared to his time on the battlefield, where tomorrow is far from a given. He's out of his mind. Is he just really insecure or something? We might all be dead by tomorrow, and the last thing he'll remember are the boiled vegetables he had for his last meal. Anonymous interview log 1. Would a last meal of salted potatoes be any better? Anonymous interview log 2. Hoederer also writes, oh yeah, he could work as a librarian or historian. It'd be fun reading Hoederer's tales. There's a scholar in him, but unlike any of the Victorian or Columbian academics we're familiar with, he says that his studies are not for personal growth or academic curiosity. When he visits Rhodes Island's library, he's not seeking pure knowledge but methods. His writings and records serve a single purpose: to relieve his own pain and doubt. He is currently writing a book on the history of Sarkaz Wars, and operators who have had the chance to review the draft speak highly of it, calling it more than just a chronicle, but a unique way of studying history from a micro perspective. Hoederer needs a publishing agent. Now, I want to be clear that I'm not trying to make money off of this. How much money many could there possibly be in putting out a textbook written in Sarkaz no less, but I'm Sarkaz too, and there are plenty of us on Rhodes Island who'd want to read our history in written form. I'll get his request for more books on economics approved immediately, as long as he lets me handle his publishing rights. Closure, the manager, the agent. You can come talk to me about the copyright stuff, and I suggest you reject Hoederer's request for books on economics. I just wanted to help him with bookkeeping. Message to the procurement department, author unknown. Aww. No more books on economics for him. Archive file 2. Diary with yellow pages. I didn't have the money, so I pulled the cart out of town and found a spot. Solby told me everyone was buried there. There were no tombstones, but the ground was filled with orginium crystals, small ones, not the big formations that catastrophes leave behind. Mom wasn't very tall, but it took hours to dig a hole she could lie in. The sun had risen by the time I got back. Maybe there'll be crystals growing there the next time I visit. I hope I can still find it. I didn't expect him to struggle. I waited for him to fall asleep. I practiced the stab so many times. I got the spot just right. Why didn't he die immediately? I still have the scratch marks he left on my wrist. It will take days for them to fade. On the whole though, it wasn't that bad. Not as scary as Matri said. I watched him expire before my eyes. Blood everywhere. Skari gave me a small piece of refined pure gold as a reward for a successful mission. Told me mercenaries don't need to ask questions. All that matters is results. Said I did well. Croach finally agreed to teach me how to drive. I still have to reach for the pedals, but I think I got the chops. We drove on the wide open piece of the Barrens. Croach was always concerned that I'd crash the car, but there's nothing to crash into out there, and there wasn't much left in his car to crash anyway. I got tired after a while and Croach took over. We drove aimlessly the entire day, until sundown. I thought I'd get to see a beautiful sunset, but the black smoke from Kazo obscured everything. Croach seems to be a decent guy, although he still won't increase my pay. Is he the one who said scouting was an important job? I wonder how old he is in these diary entries. Burying mother and then learning how to drive. and not, like, barely being able to touch the petals. Like, oh my goodness. How young was he if he could barely reach the petals? Those damn angels have been after us for 3 days and show no sign of being willing to let us go. I didn't even have time to change my bandages. My wound has already gone numb. Not a good sign. If you're reading this, I'm probably dead. If you're the Sanctum who killed me, then Abi in Malam Kusam. If you're just a Sarkis passing by, pray that I return to the myriad souls. There are a few pieces of pure gold in my pouch. Take them if you haven't already. Scribbled, I have a fever. I think I'm dying. I learned the name of the man who stabbed me, Cannoli. The name Cannoli! Delicious. I love cannolis. The target our squad eliminated 3 days ago was his father. I should thank him. The doctor who stitched up my wound gave me a quick screening. He told me I was infected. Like he was talking about the weather. I guess the burning ashes I saw that day were my arts. What good is that? Fertilizer? I admit, I'm disappointed. I don't really care that I got neuropathy. Everyone here gets it sooner or later. I'm one of the lucky ones. Funnel's little girl is 5, and her left hand is almost entirely covered in crystals. Her 6th birthday is a few months away. Funnel's birthday present for her? A coffin. Broke Tooth didn't want me in his group because I was too young. I'll go find Schwab. I think he wants to form his own mercenary band. Heard that a Lithuanian caravan was passing through the birch forest on the north tomorrow. They picked the worst route possible and gave it away to boot. More than one group of bandits will have them in their sights. But the mission that Scar Market gave us is to rob the bandits. Who'd make a request like that? Hope tomorrow's operation goes well. Maybe I can pick up some good Lithuanian stuff. The diary ends here. Oh, to the birch forest. Is this where he meets Ines? I wonder. This sounds kind of cute. It's like, okay, last diary entry. But no, I want the diary entry of how he met Ines now. Oh no, I'm like that one operator. Or that one worker who got the redacted person. Archive File 3. The other day, I saw Hoederer chatting in the bar with an old ship hand dating back to the Babel days. W said Hoederer was a crazy grass eater, but he looked normal enough to me. Later, I had the chance to talk to that ship hand about their conversation when he came to me to get some paperwork done. Hey, hello. Beep. Oh, that. To tell the truth, I didn't even know his name until we drank together a couple days ago. Hey, don't blame me. It's not like he remembered my name either. So many people came and went while the chairman was still around. You hardly had the chance to remember the name of someone you might only have seen a few times. Plus, the Sarkis mercs change their code names so often. I don't know who has the patience to remember them all. We didn't talk about much, just old times. I met Hoederer's band in '93. I remember that because that's the year my son died. Not long before they came aboard. Times were hard at Babel back then. We were always moving, and we lost a lot of good people. Never mind that. I was part of the operation to recover his squad. Only a few of them made it. I remember him and Ines mostly because they came with that nutjob W. And the fact that they eventually left Babel without taking her with them. I joined Babel and worked with people like the chairman and Kelsey because that was my dream. This was my dream. I still believe in the chairman's path, but I also understand why so many people left. It's not just Teresa's we're fighting, it's all the hatred behind them as well. But Hoederer and Ines were different from the others who left. I could tell that they didn't leave because they were afraid of Teresa's, because they worried about their families in Casdell, or because they're pessimistic about how the war would go. If you ask me, I think they looked tired and sad when they left. When we drank together that day, Hoederer asked me which race I thought had killed the most Sarkis. I gave a few answers, but they were all wrong. Finally, he told me it was the Sarkis themselves, be it Victoria, Lithuanian, or any other country or faction. The best way to destroy a bunch of Sarkis is not to waste their own precious troops, but to hire another group of Sarkis to solve the problem. No need to pay no need to pay restitution to the families of the fallen, after all. Unlike their own soldiers, Hoederer said that he used to think this was normal. That was the job of a merc, after all. But could they still remain sellswords for the highest bidder in the civil war between Teresa and Teresis to determine the ruler of Wiš'adel? Hoederer and Ines didn't want to pick a side. They wanted to remain free. But who can truly see above such a conflict? I don't understand him, really. He wanted to get away from it all. But in the end, we ran into each other here again. Maybe there are some things you just can't get away from. Just like you can't get away from eating and drinking. Anything else? Oh? I've heard that theory too. But they left W in Babel to keep an exit route open. Whoever said that needs to use their brain. W? Keep a path open? You're lucky if she doesn't get on literally everyone's bad side. Hey, you're not going to tell her I said that, are you? Archive File 4. Classified Log. It's been a while, Doctor. Our brief cooperation in the Babel days is irrelevant now. I doubt you remember it anyway. I stood on the other side in the Chernobog incident and killed Scout with my own hands. I'm not going to justify it. I'm not going to try to justify it. I'm the direct culprit. I also served Teresis' military commission for a long time. Answering to Manfred, I was involved in numerous purges of the Londinium Council, helping Teresis establish control and forcing Londinium to kneel. Yes, with a closer partnership in Victoria. We fought alongside Rhodes Island through the fire and brimstone, with a tacit understanding not to bring up the past, either the good and the bad. Let me make this clear, Doctor. I'm not bringing this up now to casually apologize and seek forgiveness. On the contrary, I need you to remember that I did all that, and I can't and won't feel guilty about any of it. I'm a mercenary, a killer, and I must face all the choices I made, as well as any consequences they bring about. I read the terms of the agreement, of course. It's similar to the one Ines got. It's true, they will have use of one another for a long time to come, but I'm not W, and I have no intention of chasing after Her Highness's footsteps like her. You and I both know that no matter who we have with us now, Her Highness Teresa's Babel is no more than a footnote in history. Frankly, being a part of Rhodes Island offers me many advantages, personally. Our cooperation extends beyond the realm of orpathy and infection. You're the experts in the field, and the Sarkas have long been plagued by orpathy, but it's the least of Wiš'adel's problems right now. It's a gentle killer, compared to war, starvation, and investigators. I need your help because you're more complex than you let on. No need to deny it. I know what kind of people this place has. Both heroes of days gone by and children of the future. The extraordinary pretending to be ordinary. The revolutionaries who've yet to realize who they are. Far more influence than any pharmaceutical company should wield. I claim no authority in Wiš'adel, and perhaps it's not even my place as a humble mercenary to worry about the city's future. In the end, though, it's our home, and we know that Wiš'adel's crisis only just begun. I'm not an idealist like Her Highness Teresa, believing that sincerity begets selfless cooperation. But I'll leverage every bit of power I can, even if there are ulterior motives behind them. We're constantly walking on the edge of a cliff. Over the long course of history, many cities have been given the name Wiš'adel, but it's never changed the fact that the Sarkas continue to wander. It's time we found an anchor for our people. We must consider how to find a true, lasting home, rather than being swept into the abyss once more by the tides of anger and ambition. If you're no longer that destroyer, Doctor, then I need your advice. Promotion record. Hoederer received a letter of invitation from the Military Commission of Wiš'adel. Following the conclusion of the war in Victoria, the nations of Terra have yet to organize an offensive against Wiš'adel. The return of the Lord of Fiends to Wiš'adel is hardly the only reason. But the Military Commission these days, Hoederer's brow furrows, and just thinking about it, he decides to spend a few more days at Rhodes Island before setting out. Oh man. True, for Manfred and Hoederer was more awkward. Former boss, former enemy, ally. Like, oof. And now for here. A new life. Oh, cute! Look at it. I like the little drawings. A new life. By the time class let out, the sun is already setting. Hoederer looks out the window at the deep orange sun hanging low on the city's edge. Its gentle light filters through gaps in the clouds, illuminating the Babel flag fluttering, mirroring the flag of the military commission opposite of it. He feels a rare stir of emotion. Casdell, his broken yet vibrant hometown, was about to settle peacefully into slumber. This was a scene he had only imagined as a child. He couldn't even remember how many times he dreamed of it coming true. Hundreds? Maybe more? In the empty room, a knock at the door interrupts his thoughts. He opens it to see a stranger. Mr. Hoederer, General Manfred has invited you to pay him a visit. The stranger says, I haven't touched base with the military commission in a long time. The general understands. He said you might need some time. The visitor continues. I'm only here as his messenger. Manfred, the current head of the military commission, who played a role in Casdell's development. The general also said that if you refused, he'd come to see you himself next time. The messenger adds before Hoederer can respond. Manfred, he thinks, lowering his head. The streetlights are starting to come on, and he sees both the messenger and his own shadow begin to blur. Please go back, he says to the visitor. We'll find time to visit the general, but not today. Then he closes the door. Hoederer turns around and speaks to the shadows in the empty classroom. Welcome back. Humph. A figure emerges in the shadows, her back turned to Hoederer. She starts to clean the classroom. You hesitated. Ines remarks, some things are complicated. Including your feelings on them. Right. You're not denying it. Right. I told you, our top priority right now is saving enough money to open up that shop you always wanted. Hoederer says, the rest can wait. I know, she says, pausing slightly. I've always known. Then they leave together in silence, walking down the street. They look up at the twin gray-blue moons laying in the sky, casting a glow over Casdell's old district, where ruined buildings stand resilient in the night. Rows of rusted iron-roofed houses stretch endlessly, and the red-brown fields reflect the flickering light from the blazing furnaces. Crumbling roads twist through the hills and valleys, carrying the city's lifeblood, an unceasing flow of people to their destinations. I like how even here they were still saving up for that shop. Like, come on. The next time we go to Casdell, I hope they're gonna open up that shop. Like, please. Please, please. Like, I think it'd be fun. You know... Oh gosh. The attitude towards the doctor. I mean, I can see why they'd be on edge of the doctor, especially back then. The Destroyer. And being super wary about leaving, like, Wiš'adel with them. It's like, it should be fine because it's her, but at the same time, we're watching you, doctor. Like, I get it. We were pretty sus, weren't we? We were very, very cold and sus. But now we're a bit better, so... It seems our relationships are decent now, I hope. Maybe they'll even give us some free samples for when they open up the shop. Fingers crossed. Because that'd be cute. I want to see that. That'd be too wholesome. And now for W. Looking majestic as always. Boom. Basic info. Codename W. Gender female. Combat experience 11 years. Aww. Baby compared to them. It is really cute. Place of birth Casdell. Date of birth claims to have forgotten. Race Sarkaz. Height 165 centimeters. Infection status confirmed infected by medical examinations. Physical exam. Physical strength standard. Mobility standard. Physical resilience excellent. Tactical acumen outstanding. Combat skill excellent. Originium arts simulation standard. Profile. W. Sarkaz mercenary leader. W's squad, having been involved in Casdell's lengthy civil war, is infamous for their brutal and efficient combat methods. W clashed with Rhodes Island during the Chernobog incident, but after defecting from Reunion for unknown reasons, signed a strategic cooperation agreement with Rhodes Island after negotiating with Dr. Kelsey in person. Clinical analysis. Imaging tests have shown the outlines of W's internal organs to be indistinct due to abnormal shadows. Originium granules have been detected in her circulatory system, confirming her to be infected with uropathy. Cell originium assimilation, 14%. Mercenary W shows clear signs of infection, no further examinations available. Blood originium crystal density, 0.29. There is little reason for optimism regarding W's prognosis due to prolonged exposure in the Casdo region, as well as unchecked abuse of military-grade originium products. However, she has never experienced dysphoria regarding her status as an infected. Perhaps, as is true for many Sarkas, she's become accustomed to the persecution for her dual identity. As everyone already knows, W has a very disagreeable personality. Nah, she's fine, she's fine. Even after entering into a cooperation agreement with Rhodes Island, she's never agreed to an examination. Yes, that's right, examination, not treatment. To be honest, I didn't know many who are willing to treat her beyond their duties as medics. Even so, the Sarkas has demonstrated remarkably little willingness to comply with anything, frequently spouting off rubbish such as, "If you don't want to help, then don't bother," or "I've duked it out with folks like you before, no need to stand on ceremony here." Of course, I already knew that, but even though that's a different matter, bring her over here right now! A medical department director. Archive File 1. W belonged to an independent mercenary team during the war in Castel. The team gained notoriety for its frequent raids on commercial Laterano convoys, and many of its members have claimed their guns as trophies. These guns, often awarded as a part of a formal ceremony, fetch a very high price at the Scar Market, Castel's infamous black market. W herself still has a number of these guns in her collection, but it was marked as contraband and confiscated following her onboarding in order to avoid arousing the ire of our Laterano operators. Among the many weapons she uses is an explosives launching device with obvious signs of modification. As for its provenance, after thorough consideration, we decided not to investigate the matter further. Following the conclusion of the war, W accepted an offer from Tallulah to fight for Reunion as a mercenary, thus becoming one of Reunion's accomplices. Subsequently, W unilaterally broke off her cooperation with Reunion and reached an agreement with Rhodes Island that continues to this day. From the above, we most likely have no way of determining W's specific role during the Castel Civil War. Her motivation in joining and then quickly betraying Reunion, or her purpose in cooperating with Rhodes Island. We know nothing about her history from the onset of the Castle Civil War to the time she joined Reunion. Considering that W is still a mercenary, and also factoring in what she did during the incident with Reunion, we urge all ordinary operators to keep their distance from W as much as possible. And also urge all departments to exercise caution when dealing with these dangerous collaborators. Classified log? You want an ordinary operator to keep tabs on W? Isn't that asking too much? They lack critical information, but since we're old acquaintances, why not let me take care of it? Fine, fine. We should be thankful W rarely needs to stay aboard the land ship. Everyone hates her as much as they fear her, and how could things be that simple? What I'm asking is, how complicated could she be? If you know what she used to be, you should know how to get along with these lunatics. Her skills are the real deal. Otherwise, how would she have been able to pull all her mercenaries from Tallulah? But don't worry, even if she dared to pull something on us, Dr. Kelsey would see right through it. Okay, since they called her a lunatic here, I'm wondering, how do you think W/Wiš'adel would get along with, let's say, Lapland? With Lappy? Do you think they'd have fun? Or would it be too much chaos? Still, we should definitely keep our distance from her, especially for adorable operators who don't get how the world works. W could really upset them. As for our elite operators, I worry that equal parts conflict and alcohol could spark an explosion that ends up destroying half of the ship, if not all of it. I hope that never happens, I'm serious. Pure chaos at a party. It'd be fun. Like, I want to see them interact. Finally, please remember that as members of the HR department, we would never recruit an unstable person into the ranks of Rhodes Island. That's the most important condition for employment, after all. So the possibilities are twofold. First, the situation is dangerous enough to demand such measures. Or second, we've always known the truth. Or it could be a bit of both. Wouldn't you agree? Beep. Archive File 2. Sarkis mercenaries. Up until the final days of the Kazdel Civil War, mercenaries were the most common armed forces seen in Kazdel's barren lands. Each of them worked in small teams, sometimes being recruited by nobles with vast funds and supplies, other times forming spontaneous coalitions with other mercenary teams. Ooh. Or imagine ordinary patients at Rhodes Island getting treatment at Landship, a Laterano in this case. This seems like a legit pharmaceutical company. The next moment she sees infamous Sarkis mercenary. It's like, well... Heck, at this point there's a lot of different people on Rhodes Island anyways. It's just gonna be shock no matter who comes. In Kazdel, where allegiances shift like the sands and various groups frequently find themselves at each other's throats, the concepts of life and death take on a different form than compared to any other region. For the soldiers mired in conflicts across the regions, becoming mercenaries has become an increasingly popular option. In the history of modern warfare, the topic of Sarkis mercenaries has always been a subject of intense debate. Some Sarkis mercenaries were sponsored by someone outside of Kazdel, who was both well-equipped and skilled in local strategic configurations, an alarming arrangement that posed a security challenge to all parties. As a result, professional forces dedicated to counteracting the Sarkis mercenaries have been formed, though specific details are not yet available. After the incumbent regent clashed with the Orthodox royal family to spark the civil war, the remnants of Kazdel's army, which had been scattered among various nobles, begins to gradually unite with civilian forces, eventually being split into factions. The fighting was brutal and harrowing, but some scholars believe that the Civil War allowed a new process of redistribution and restructuring to take root in the barren and chaotic Kazdel. Although the heirs of the Orthodox royal family were expelled from Kazdel, they were still supported by various ancient clans and noble families who pitched their massive economic power into unifying a large number of mercenaries, effectively gathering these scattered warriors under a king's banner. This event is considered to be the official start of the mercenaries' prominent role in the Civil War. Shortly afterwards, the regent's side returned fire and did the same. As a result, most mercenaries were brought under one of these major banners, which to some extent eroded the original meaning of the term mercenary. Despite this, there still remain a small number of mercenaries who are unwilling to get shackled down to this unsurvivable conflagration, and still struggle to maintain an independent position between the two main groups. They believe that mercenaries, or rather Sarkis as a whole, should be free. Their deeds are widely circulated as legends among the civilians of Kazdel, albeit having been heavily embellished for artistic purposes. Okay, what kind of embellishments are we talking here? Struggle and Freedom, Chapter 2, Kazdel and the Modern History of Mercenaries excerpt. This book came from W's personal belongings, and the author's name is unexpectedly abbreviated to only the letter H. I wonder who that could be. The sentence, Sarkis should be free, is highlighted in red. Archive File 3. W and her squad remained largely independent from Rhodes Island, and considering the peculiarities of Sarkis mercenaries, rarely spent time stationed on the Rhodes Island landship. Even her infrequent sightings on the ship are enough to cause quite an uproar. One need not reiterate W's nasty temperament, and aside from Dr. Kelsey and the doctor, she considers few to be worth her attention. The last time W came back to the ship for a debriefing, we almost had a brawl with two elite operators on our hands. The reason? W provoked them, of course. Even when there was no ill intent behind her words, her attitude alone is enough to incite conflict, particularly when it comes to the dead, including the ones she has something to do with. Truly, a Sarkis who sheds neither blood nor tears. Oh right, regarding Amiya, Amiya does not seem to know much about W, and W, despite not considering Amiya to be particularly noteworthy, will still defer to her. Isn't that strange? We don't think so. Despite her grumbling, complaints, and tendency to disregard orders and act according to her own judgment, W has compelled with Amiya's orders, at least when it comes to reporting results. It's as if W has high expectations for Amiya, but I don't think that's a good thing. Not a good thing, it's a great thing. One more thing. I'm not entirely sure if this is just my imagination, and the boss stops my observations, but sometimes W will stand in front of an empty room and moving as if in a daze. Other times, she'll just watch Amiya while she goes about her daily business. Yeah, just stare. What in the world could she be thinking? In the likely event that it's something dangerous, we must take precautionary measures. Importantly, every time she was observed, she wasn't smiling. She's probably wondering, like, why was Teresa so interested in Amiya? I'ma watch. Archive File 4. Classified Log. Doctor, I'm sure you realize this as well, but there is some relationship between W and Rose Island, as well as with your past. When a Sarkaz like Flamebringer showed up at Rose Island, I knew this day would come. Miraculously, from Castle to Ursus, then to Lungmen to today, and maybe on into the future, we've continued to move forward, but we will still meet the same people we started this journey with. Only now, with the far-reaching effects that they left behind. And once again, I have to come to terms with the fact that there are things in this life that we can't avoid or run from. I talked to Miss Kelsey and Amiya, and even brought a bunch of snacks to bribe closure with, and everyone had a different opinion. I begged Beep to please let me talk to you, Doctor. Even though you might not recognize me anymore, I feel like I have to talk to you about something. You just have to keep thinking of me as a Sarkaz boiler worker. I want to talk about W. I've known W for a long time. Did W mention this to you while she was still alive? About Her Majesty. Us old operators swore never to speak of this again. But it's not because we're trying to hide anything from you, Doctor. The reason is simple. None of us are willing to confront that past. Miss Kelsey also knows about this, of course. Don't worry. I checked in with her before I came by. There's some things I can't do as thoroughly as you'd like. So I'm just here to have a little chat. You find the duality between her two identities. As W, she welcomely calls herself a lunatic and made others believe so quite effectively. Yeah, the best thing about being a lunatic is no one will question you. But as Wiš'adel, being a lunatic is no longer enough. It is one way to deal with things, especially as the chairman of Babel. And we'll need to answer the questions that come our way. It is fun! Back to W. In the beginning, she was a kid who only knew to follow Her Majesty's orders and nobody else's. Even among the then unified Sarkaz, not many people knew about W's existence. What about Amiya at the time? They wouldn't have met each other by then. After all, she had just enlisted as a mercenary. Unscrupulous, cynical, and flashing that devil-may-care smile. As for me, I was just a boiler worker at the time who'd never seen a battlefield. Huh? That's right. I built these muscles at work. I just got lucky and beat that elite operator at arm wrestling. I'd never been on the battlefield. I don't know how extreme the soldiers thought W was. And I don't know why they thought she was unstable. I've never seen her in a fight, except she came back from a mission, trailing behind Her Majesty, thinking it's not her place to even say hello. The way I see it, she was trying to follow Her Majesty, following her ideals, her light, just like every Sarkaz before. But W isn't that person anymore. There aren't very many people at Rose Island who know about W, but most of the people W knew are gone now. She wore her disguise for too long, and it sank too deep. She used to have some friends. Yes, even someone like her still needs the help, the helping companionship of friends. They used to all fight alongside us, and though it wasn't for a very long time, if those friends were still here today, they might still be able to lend her a helping hand. Now, I'm thinking there isn't a single person left who can help her. That's right. Nothing we can do. Nothing you or Dr. Kelsey can do. And I get if nobody wanted to do this anyway. But we shouldn't take that for granted. We all want to know what W is after, and what her plans are, in her eyes. Is Rhodes Island just a flash in the pan, or a brand new future to carry the hopes of the past? It's fun reading about the operators. Like, learning more about our operators is nice. That's a very important question. Maybe even more important to people still haunted by the past. That includes Amiya and even Miss Kelsey. It also matters to how W will handle her relationship with Rhodes Island in the coming days, as well as with Amiya, Miss Kelsey, and even you. Oh, I had to sneeze. 2 sneezes to be exact. It came in double. W. Oh? There's a simple reason I came to see you. You might not remember the past, but the people from your past keep popping up one by one. Some are trusting, some not so much. And I'm sure you must be having a hard time dealing with them. Haha, too bad I'm just a lowly boiler worker with no place to worry about the Dr. Rhodes Island. Miss Kelsey and Amiya maybe will take good care of you. And also keep Rhodes Island in steady, continued operations. But W is nothing like them. Whether she's coming at you or the other way around, I just hope both of you can keep calm and don't be hasty. I wanted Amiya or Miss Kelsey to tell you this stuff, or at least have it delivered by beep. Everyone gave up and let me do it, but truth be told, I'm also pretty nervous. I mean, I'm just your typical run-of-the-mill Sarkaz. I can't do crazy arts or swing big swords and axes. If anything, I just drop them on my feet. The best I can do is take care of my own work. All I hope is that Rhodes Island can keep on trucking across the world safely. You have a question for me? Teresa? Where'd you hear that name? Teresa, huh? Maybe it won't be so long before you have to truly face your... Your what? Why does it have to cut off like that? Your past? But dang. What a way to end that one. Promotion record. So you didn't actually... Death is a great way to get people off your trail. It was his idea to sneak out and meet you here after all. So when do we go to Victoria? Wouldn't want to keep our surfer waiting. The situation in Victoria is a lot more complicated than you think. Don't have that much influence to resist, you know? So not enough for you? Maybe for you, but for Rhodes Island? Not even close. Do you want to get everyone killed? Fine, fine. Since you're so eager to give this a try, I thought you... Oh? Do you just want to go help that guy? I want you to sit quietly for now. It's not time yet. Oh? In other words? ... How about that? To think we get all these clues about Londinium just by hanging out Rhodes Island for a bit. How could Kelsey be that unprepared? You've done your homework, so stuff like this happens. After all, you also get along so well with the doctor. Piqued your interest, huh? Not really. I'd like to head back and see Ascalon if I get a chance. Are you going to Rhodes Island yourself? Sure am. I'm looking forward to seeing what you do next, so try your best not to die when you leave Victoria. We still have a lot of unfinished business. It's okay. Don't worry about it. We'll tie up all of our loose ends someday. Humph. You better uphold your end of the deal. I'll be waiting. Surprisingly, not as chaotic as I thought it would be. For records, I mean. After everything we learned, it's quite heartbreaking for Wiš'adel back then. True. It's like, oh, hello, Ghost. Hello, Destroyer. Oh, it ain't you, huh? Well, change of plans. And now for the mercenary's bag. The mercenary's bag has an interlayer, and within it go things she doesn't normally bring out. Young wandering children are all too common in a sight across these lands, most clinging to enter their bitter lives. A little girl pleads with a group of monsters, hoping to be spared some food. "Please, please, help me," says the little girl. "I can do a lot of things. I can help you too." The monsters take pity on this wasteland vagabond, and they accept her, allowing her into a small den she can call home. "You're so nice," she says. With her tiny cloth bundle, "I can hunt. I'll bring back even more food for you." The skies grow dark, and dark means unsafe. She shrinks into her hiding spot, looking out at the dim sky. "We don't have enough food. You said you would hunt. Now's the time." The leader of the squad of monsters brushes its hair out of its eyes and says to the girl, "Bring back more food." The girl journeys out alone into the dark, and all the creatures in the night, under the night sky, tuck themselves away, leaving her with nothing. But far in the distance, she catches sight of a small campfire, a bag of food full enough for several days, and a seemingly very listless mercenary. "Take it." The thought pops into her head. Finally, she reaches out and manages to grasp the bag. Inside is something she hasn't eaten in a long time. Real food. Snatch it, steal it, whatever it takes. Getting it is the only way the monsters will recognize her. Taking it is the only way they will let her stay. She clutches it tight and starts to run. With the mercenary giving chase, the girl runs all the way back to the squad of monsters, and they rush at the mercenary, claws out. But the whales she imagines never come. The mercenary seems to be saying something in a loud voice. The girl peeks out from behind the bonfire. The mercenary takes the monsters once more into the black night, and after a brief departure, they come back. The monsters are delighted, crying out in celebration as they haul a modest convoy of supplies out from the night. Time passes, growing darker still, and it comes time to rest. The girl lies down in relief. The mercenary takes watch duty, and after they are done celebrating, the monsters too sleep beside the bonfire. She takes stock of this newcomer, and the newcomer returns her gaze. After a brief moment of eye contact, she turns away and shuts her eyes. The monsters murmur as they dream, and the mercenary adds some wood to the fire. Only one pair of eyes is open, glinting in the flames, and they size up the camp. When the only sound can be heard by the bonfire is steady breathing, the girl opens her eyes. Once all the other sounds completely disappear, she emerges from her hiding spot. We make a good team. In the mercenary's hand is a blade, slicked with a liquid thick and red. The girl looks around, taking in the state of the camp. She finds a patch of ground to sit down on, still more or less clean. The mercenary starts moving the things back into their camp, and, left alone, she starts to look up at the moons. Traitor! The soul-remaining monster charges out from some corner, breath ragged and letting out an incomprehensible voice. It grapples the girl. "I'm going to die like this," thinks the girl as she struggles desperately. "I can't die." A hole is made in her little bundle. A sharp of a blade cuts through the cloth in her grip and slices her hand. She grips the shard tight and thrusts into the night over and over, until the monster can no longer hold of its weapon. Thick, sticky, red liquid trickles to the floor. Survive. Inside the interlayer of the mercenary's bag is a shard of a blade, something she placed in there even before she was a mercenary. She did say she could hunt, so of course she has a knife. You gotta have a knife if you want to be in there, or if you want to go out there and hunt. The ooze! Interesting how she has a kind of like a mentor here in a way. Like one other person who's just like, you know, we make a good team. And now for the lost dull knife. We went from one blade to another. And a fancy one at that. Oops. Wrong thingy. I like how she put a bomb in a potato. Hollowed out a potato to put a bomb in there. Like, ah yes, a stuffed potato. Mmm, delicious. Lost dull knife. A hungry slave stumbled through the desolate waste beneath a starry sky, spotting a silent mercenary by the campfire in the distance. I'm searching for an unstoppable giant ship in the wilderness. I've heard that the ship's master will give us sanctuary. The slave nervously prostrated himself on the ground, offering his only weapon. Who are you? The mercenary didn't even look at him. I'm an escaped slave from the Scar Market, accidentally injured a guard and can't go back, but I want to live. The mercenary gazed at the campfire in silence for the moment. I know where the giant ship will pass tomorrow. After daybreak, I'll take you there. The slave expressed gratitude to the mercenary, set down his weapon, and attempted to sleep where he stood. The one-armed guard shuffled through the starlit wasteland, spotting the silent mercenary by the campfire in the distance. I'm searching for an unstoppable giant ship in the wilderness. I've heard the ship's owner will give us sanctuary. The guard nervously stood still, holding no weapon to protect him. Who are you? The mercenary didn't even look at him. I'm an escaped guard of the Scar Market. I let a slave go out of compassion and can't go back, but I'm willing to serve a new master. Wow, they both got there. Dang. The mercenary gazed at the campfire in silence for a moment. I know where the giant ship will pass tomorrow. After daybreak, I'll take you there. The guard expressed gratitude to the mercenary, concealed his severed arm, and tried to sleep where he stood. However, only one of you can go. The mercenary stood up, a disgusted expression illuminated by the campfire. In the firelight, the slave and the guard saw each other's eyes. I'll be back after daybreak. The mercenary left the camp and vanished into the starlight wilderness. When the first beam of light fell into upon the waste, the mercenary returned to the extinguished campfire. Both the guard and the slave had disappeared, leaving behind only a lone weapon. With the weapon in hand, the mercenary returned to the giant ship. The giant watching the gate was curious about their fate. I don't care. They were never qualified to serve Her Majesty. And what's your standard? How are you so sure? The giant playfully teased the mercenary. For as much as she's ever reprimanded me, she never considered kicking me out. The mercenary laughed and said, the standard, of course, is me. I love that ending. That is so good. So in a way, having them put up nicely is kind of good, though. If it's set up, like, evenly. But wow, the standard is me. That confidence. Because, yeah, breaking this into maybe 3 would be kind of good, right? I feel like that could work out. Potentially. Actually, no. Maybe not. We'll see. So time for Wiš'adel. File. Basic info. Codename Wiš'adel. Gender female. Combat experience 12 years. Place of birth Kasdel. Date of birth claims to have forgotten. Race Sarkaz. Height 165 centimeters. Infection status confirmed infected by medical examination. Physical exam. Physical strength standard. Mobility standard. Physical resilience excellent. Tactical acumen outstanding. Combat skill excellent. Originium arts simulation standard. Profile. Sarkaz mercenary leader W. Now formally renamed Wiš'adel. During the War in Londinium, she has worked closely with Rhodes Island's Londinium Special Ops Squad and interfered with the military commission's operations on multiple occasions. Classified log. We have urgently updated the terms of our strategic partnership with Wiš'adel. You may want to consider going over each section again. No doubt you already understand that our cooperation with her will only grow closer in the future, and this most certainly concerns more than just her. Clinical analysis. Imaging tests have shown the outlines of Wiš'adel's internal organs to be indistinct due to abnormal shadows. Originium granules have been detected in her circulatory system, confirming her to be infected with uropathy. Cell originium assimilation, 17%. Wiš'adel shows clear signs of infection. No further examinations have been carried out. Blood originium crystal density 0.32. Wiš'adel's condition shows no sign of improvement. Not only has her wanton use of originium military products continued, they have been getting more intense. The medical department's operators have given her stern warnings again and again, only for them to all go unheeded. For real, I'm getting so pissed at her. She skipped her regular checkup again, and it took us so long to finally find her down on the mobility layer, only for her to just be hanging about doing nothing. I told her flat out that she's going to die soon if she doesn't get her act together. True, some people can live for a decade or longer after getting infected, but that's when they take care of their bodies. Let's not even get into the fact that she's a sarcasm. I don't care how long she plans on living, but as long as she's in the Care Rhodes Island medical department, I'm not letting her die that easy. And even if I don't want to admit it, a lot of folks out there are counting on her. So, who's up for raiding her explosives armory? A certain medical department senior operator. Good luck for them in the raid. Archive File 1. Because of its unique properties, engineering has added an addendum regarding Wiš'adel's new weapon, despite the fact that she has never registered a single weapon with us. It reads as follows. If we analyze only structure and functionality, Wiš'adel's new weapon is a primary artillery-level witchcraft amplification unit. In perfect condition, its power could far exceed our control, especially when wielded by Wiš'adel. Fortunately, this unit seems to have received severe damage. Frankly, I don't understand why she's even carrying that piece of junk around. To throw at people, maybe? From what I've heard, there's no way she'd be that gentle. The above contents have been redacted. The following was written by Closure, Chief Engineer of the Engineering Department, Closure. I see them as being similar, like Lapland and Wiš'adel, in the sense where they just want to do what they want to do. And they don't care what kind of chaos ensues based on how they want. The standard is them. And I just love this. Closure, Chief Engineer of the Engineering Department, Closure. Closure. The guy who registered Wiš'adel's weapon last time is gonna be busy rebuilding the testing grounds from scratch for the foreseeable future. There's been loads of horror stories about Wiš'adel going around the ship. But she's basically the kind of girl who always brings you way more trouble than you could ever imagine. Well, what can you do? It's not easy for non-sarcasm operators to wrap their heads around what exactly she's carrying. It's not as simple as a new weapon that's an honest-to-God revenant possessing the thing, as the same one that possessed the airship that appeared above Londinium to boot. So, the plain fact is that we have some crazy old sarcasm ancestor following her around and touring Rhodes Island. He hasn't been shy about calling the younger generation a bunch of wussies either. Wow, thanks, Grandpa.
Kids these days. So lame, look at these wusses.
Still, the ancestral blabber inhibitor Wiš'adel requested is in our R&D to-do list. We've run into a bit of technological bottleneck, but all of engineering's sarcasm members are giving this project their 120%. Also, while we're still cleaning up the mess at the testing grounds, almost all of engineering's explosives experts have been coming uninvited to try and recreate the whole process of the explosion in front of the remnants of whatever got blown to pieces. The guys in charge of the testing grounds weren't idiots, either. Before Wiš'adel even set foot inside, we strictly limited the amount of explosives she's allowed to carry. Even then, with the help of the Revenant's witchcraft, the damage she caused still far exceeded our expectations. The most experienced explosives expert in all of engineering told me that you could only blow up such a wide area with this little explosive material in theory. He gave me two possible explanations. One, that her brain could figure out the most precise blast calculations in a split second, which would make her a super genius, or two, that she could make bombs out of thin air. After a round of discussion, they were apparently leaning towards the latter, and even had Kelsey a proposal based on this principle, suggesting that we let Wiš'adel create an unlimited amount of explosives for us. Of course, Kelsey rejected it on the spot. I love how just like, ooh, she can spawn explosives. Oh, heck yeah. Explosives, please. Rejected. What? You're saying making bombs out of thin air goes against the laws of physics? Just think about it though. Isn't that way more plausible than Wiš'adel, being a mathematical genius? A certain engineering department, explosives expert. Archive file 2. Classified log. We found a notebook belonging to Wiš'adel full of obscure symbols and strange codes laden with spelling errors. Also found within were several crude drawings resembling maps. As these notes were often accompanied by drawings of skulls and explosions, Rhode Island Security Department made the decision to investigate the matter and invited Hoederer and Ines to assist. Ines quickly flipped through the notebook before giving a smile of unclear significance and refusing to provide any further assistance. Finally, at security's insistence, Hoederer explained to us the contents of the notebook. Plan number 1. Confirm the positions of the directional explosives on the shard's underground structural layer. Expected to blow the whole building and bury Teresa's in one go. Explosives needed, lots and lots. Can we just take over Teresa's munitions factories? Still wouldn't be enough. Plan abandoned. Plan number 2. Sending explosives at key points inside the shard. Teresa's is always hanging out at the top, so we blow it in half and let him fall to his death. Explosives needed, lots. Maybe actually doable though. Plan abandoned. Couldn't get inside the shard. Plan number 3. Bring a bunch of drones. Drop a bomb on his ass when he's taking in the view of the balcony. Explosives needed. One super big one. We'll ask closure later when I see her. Plan number 4. I love these plans. Hoederer points out that the next dozen pages are all pretty similar in content, but each plan has a significantly different course of action and manner in which the explosives are placed and set off. Ignoring the vulgar language directed to Teresa's, most of the proposals are at least theoretically possible. Hoederer further told security that the notes later go into dozens of plans to strike the military commissions camp, hundreds of ways to plant the explosives, and some other random things. After making a number of contingencies against attacks on the doctor included in the notes, security determined that the notebook posed no further threat and turned it over to Hoederer to be returned to its owner. However, he refused. To think she practiced signing her name as Wiš'adel for dozens of pages. Oh, that's adorable. Heh, I wonder where she picked up that habit of jotting everything down. Yeah, I wonder where she picked that up, huh? Huh, Hoederer? Hallway conversation. Archive file 3. Wiš'adel, leader of the mercenaries, and new hope of the Sarkaz. She seems to have changed quite a bit, and her every act appears backed by some kind of rationality. Of course, this is just a facade, Doctor. She's more Sarkaz than most Sarkaz, and cruelty and insanity are etched into her bones. Unlike the little lamb with her, she'd never talk reason. I saw no few people like her around Her Highness. At the time, aside from outstanding combat prowess, there was nothing special about her. Even after she left Babel and swore to avenge Her Highness in Her Highness's name, I took her to be driven by a fury brewed from her emotions. You saw what happened afterward. Ooh. You wonder how Wiš'adel would act if Teresa's or civilly Eterna in this case. Actually ask Liz to get along with Teresa's. Oh gosh. Oh, we meant Teresa. And yeah, he'd definitely be like unbothered by it. W was too clear-headed, to the point that even Her Highness's return could not bring her down. Rather than delusional venting, her search has proven to be a series of carefully laid out rational plans. While she'll never be able to set aside her hatred, she will She will no doubt do everything in her power to assimilate and make use of the military commission's legacy. For the same reasons, I doubt she'll do anything to you either. After all, she has long been confident that she has learned the truth, and she understands you and Rhodes Island's irreplaceable place in her plans for the future. I've met a number of mercenaries who have followed her for some time, none were from Babel, and she's never told them about Babel's ideals. It certainly makes sense. Some things will only sound like a lie when told to others, but just by blowing open the steel walls before them and marching forward. Those mercenaries' eyes have grown brighter and brighter. My belief is that she did in fact show others the light she once saw. A crazed mercenary who killed so many becoming Her Highness's successor, the next chairman of Babel? Ridiculous, right? But this is Casdell. When you look at it that way, it's hardly absurd. Beep. Ooh. Sure. The talk and trust talk. The Dajal's gone? Not bad. Look at the direction she's heading. Perfect for checking how safe the building is. A familiar Sarkis appears in the end of the hallway. After a few seconds of silence, a dull noise comes, and she finally cracks a smile, satisfied. So it's just you and me now, Doctor. Take a guess. How much of the Dajal's evaluation of me, especially the part where I'm no threat to you, do you think is right? Archive File 4. Theme: History of the Development of Casdo After the War in Londinium. Lecture 2. Audience: No grade restriction. Venue: Babel Comprehensive School, Casdo. Lecture excerpts. Transmission starts playing. Wiš'adel's name, the one and only granted by Her Highness, the King of Sarkas, Teresa herself. So she's at a school right now having a lecture. Interesting. Every Sarkas still under the military commission's command, listen up. I don't care if you came here after hearing whatever nonsense from Teresa's or some royal court geezer. I'm delighted to announce the war has ended and you guys lost, but Her Highness says that she wants to have every Sarkas return home. So if you want to live, it's time to ignore orders from the military commission and do as this transmission says. Oh, I should have mentioned it earlier. This is Babel. Transmission over. The transmission you just heard was sent by Wiš'adel at the tail end of the Battle of Silver Rock Bluffs. In along with the Babel signal flare that was launched above Londinium a few days later, was seen as a turning point in the last stage of the war. There is no doubt, not only did the actions of her and her squad save the lives of countless of soldiers and preserve the forces needed to rebuild Casdell, they also laid the foundations for the Casdell-Babel government's relationship with the core countries such as Victoria, a few years down the road. As for Wiš'adel herself, surely, everyone in attendance must be familiar with her. Think about that deep hole in the front of the chapel. That's right, that's where the military commission's town hall once stood, the symbol of the era of the twins coming to a close, as well as the beginning of Babel and the military commission once again working together. Remember that General Manfred's words, and the events surrounding Chairman Wiš'adel will both be key subjects on the test. Now, turn to the next page. Let's talk about the mercenaries who... This really is school. Wow. Aw, seeing Chairman Wiš'adel would be adorable. I wonder if she'd still keep the talking gun. Promotion record. She is accustomed to the Dark Knight, or perhaps it is more appropriate to say that she loves it. Back when she did not know how to take care of herself, the Knight was a coat to protect her. When she learned how to feed herself, the Knight became a shroud to hide her dagger. Every single person able to walk out of the Casdelian wilderness knows how to make use of the eternal darkness. After all, those who never learned to all drown in it. As she grew up a little, she began to enjoy using fire to dismember the Dark Knight. Again and again, she used intense explosions to wrap up her hunts in the wilderness. The moment those huge fireballs lit up, the night was filled with danger, scorching heat, and deafening roars. But as soon as the dust settled, there was nothing but silence and death. Afterward, many sarcasts have speculated that Wiš'adel's love that Wiš'adel loves the sunrise and Kazuo more than anything else. On windless days, she always visits a small unassuming shop before dawn to laze about until breakfast before going home. Ooh? A small unassuming shop? Does it mean that, you know, did Hoederer and Ines get their cute little shop? Cause that sounds fun if she visits them regularly. On windless days, she always visits a small unassuming shop before dawn to laze about until breakfast before going home. This is cute. Her walk back is always slow, and every now and then she holds up her hand, raising a V sign towards that pink, not fully bright sky. The sky is always watching her, and she always smiles back. Look at how wholesome that was. In a way, that was the most wholesome ending. Like, dang. Ah yes, the Ancestor Launcher. A suit of armor stands atop a sand dune. He has almost forgotten where he came from. His body is badly worn down, one leg longer than the other, and a piece of his pauldrons missing to reveal a dark, empty interior. Oh yeah, afterwards. His sword is also shattered, seemingly broken when wielded. Towards one of his own kind, he had been hiding in a windmill, begging for him to wait for sundown before striking. That way, all the children playing inside his body would have already gone home. He agreed. 2 or 3 hours meant nothing to beings such as them. He sat on the hillside until the sun went down. They returned and slew the whooshing windmill. Ghosts dwelling in the depths of the ancient tower. Books buried beneath the ruins of the great library. An unnamed pirate ship. A scale that measures the weight of lives. He remembers his promise to the King of Sarkaz, the reason for his travels, to bring his scattered kind back to Casdell. And he would be the very last. But what is this endless golden expanse before his eyes? A desert? An ocean? Or one of infinite Casdells? The suit of armor is sinking. The delineation between body and sand blurs. Just as he can no longer distinguish between what he thinks and what is true. When the sand completely covers his head, he will disappear for good. Tap, tap, tap. A tapping sound comes from the top of his head. Perhaps it's just a foul beast hoping to find food in the bits of grass growing there. Clang, clang. The sand entombing him begins to shift. No, it is not the sand that is moving. Someone is kicking him. From the sound of things, someone is treating him. The eldest revenant, the first guardian of Casdell, chief advisor to all kings of Sarkaz, as a ball to be punted around. Can you hear me? If you can, then stop playing dead. I've been lugging you around for so long, you better start pulling your weight. Otherwise, I'll pawn you off as scrap metal when I get back. What do you want? Whoa, you sure mellowed out. Back when you had that big old body, didn't your vocabulary consisted mostly of words like hatred, flee, and wretched outbloods? I was worried for a sec that you were even more illiterate than me, and those were the only words you knew. Oh man, I love this roasting. To think Your Highness chose someone so crass. Now that's what I'm talking about, but no rush to get back to your old self. Time to get to work. Doing what exact? Before he could finish, he was already up in the air. Is that enough, or do you need to throw in more explosives? He is flying high above the dunes, over the ruins until Casdell, a place he thought he would never see again. With the way he's going, he'll soon crash into the meeting hall of the former royal court, the place where he once made a promise to King Ines, using all the remaining soul flame of his people. Wiš'adel! Sarkaz cursing! Ha. That eager to curse yourself, O vented ancestor. The young Sarkaz laughs mirthfully. Go on then, use that rage, blow everything up, and once you've gotten rid of all that junk, I'll take you home. Wow, no wonder why it's called the Ancestor Launcher. I love the way she just kicks around the old man. It's too funny. I'm satisfied with that. I like that. And let's see the trust. Trust, please.
えてあげるわ。ああ、でも万が一あんたうっかり死んだら責任は取らないわよ。
Oh, you want to start with talk first? Oops. Okay. Talk 1.
イネスとヘドリーは本気でカズデルにボロい店を構える。
Oh! Aw, this is cute. I like this.
こっちの町は知ってるけど
So they are opening up their shop for reals.
ってどころじゃないわ。でもレバナントの子
I
は
want them to get a good shop.
掃除にも使えるわよね。本人の意見じゃあ聞いてあげる。
And we're gonna force the Revenant to help clean up.
しないらしいわよ。あの人たちテレジアもアーミアも揃って遠くを見つめてぼーっとするのが好きなのよね。私も真似してみたことがあるんだけ
They're
ど
probably just enjoying the scenery.
何も見えない
Like, after a tough day of work,
あの
all the craziness. It's always good to look out into the distance.
いつか絶対はっきりさせてやるわ。この四六時中ぶっと
Talk 3.
うっさいガラクタを手に入れてから一日だって平和な日なんてありやしないわ。死に損ないの老いぼれがずっと耳元で誇りかぶった昔のことを唱え続けてる。
Yeah, imagine having an old and dying geezer talk to you over and over and over. Couldn't be us. Steers at Kelsey.
私たちはお仲間ね、ドクター。
Oh man. Okay. Talk of trust.
あの小ウサギ、まさか私に命令するだなんてね。あんな目で見つめられたからって私が言うこと聞くとでも本気で私のこと手下だとでも思ってるわけ。誰もテレジアの代わりにはなれないの。
Somewhat. Wiš'adel?
はあ、少なくともロドスはまだ敗戦にはなってないし、頭お花畑の連中も全滅はしてないか。
She's trying to resist Emil's stare.
あんた本気で私たちは仲良くやってると思ってるの？
Yeah, we're getting along so well.
私が今何を握ってるか見てみる？心配しないで。あんたの過去の所業にふさわしい報いは恐怖そのものだから、あっさり解放してやるなんてつまらないの。さーて、あんたはそのうちまたボロを出すのかしらね。楽しみにしてるわよ、ドクター。
And now number 3.
悪霊、今のあんたはこう呼ばれるにふさわしいのか。
Yes, evil spirit as in gotcha for me this time. Possessed by the power of gotcha.
どんなわけのわからない魂が詰まってたとしても、あんたは私が思ってたのより正直、異端児に比べれば間抜けの方がまだいくらか付き合いやすいわね。
Like, oh, how nice of her. That's cute. And again for the trust.
何？退屈なの？なら楽しいこと教えてあげ
So
るわ。
cute.
ああ、でも万が一あんたうっかり死ん
Oh,
だ
that's possible, like 2 to 3 for a week. Like, this week was pretty good for starting off. Finishing the event and then doing 2 prep streams. And then even more next week, woohoo! I like this first batch, it was so cute. In the end, it was surprisingly wholesome. I'm happy for Hoederer and Ines. They got their shop in the end. Good for them. And I love how the Revenant is just being forced to work out. He's doing community service in the shop. He is the cleaner. Like, that is just adorable. I still think it's hilarious how that one person in the records are just like trying to ship Ines and Hoederer so hard. Be like, why isn't he even blushing? How freaking dare he? They were like childhood friends and everything. They met when they were teenagers. Like, silly operator. And yeah, smiling at the sky and throwing the peace sign. Like, that is just adorable. Especially after hanging out at the shop. eating some breakfast, and then going home and be like, yeah, peace. That is such a wholesome thought. Like, oh man, I want to see that. We need a cute little short of Wiš'adel going to Hoederer and Ines' place, hanging out, then going out once the sun starts rising, and giving a nice old peace sign and smile. Why not? Auntie Wiš'adel will be fine. She'll teach them the lay of the land. Worth it. And then heck, go to Uncle Hoederer and Ines as well. And Auntie Ines. Like, that'd be good. Nah, they'd be fine. They'd be like, you know what? If like the kid had Wiš'adel's, or was on Wiš'adel's good side, you know Wiš'adel would be like the most protective auntie. Like, wouldn't that be great? Like, lucky kid. Though, oh my goodness, if anything bad happens to the kid, Wiš'adel will just blow things up. Like, what happened to you, kid? Why are you crying? Like, oh, the ground scratched your knee? Blows up ground? Like, tee hee hee? Yes. Truly wish, like, living up to her name, which is adorable. Like, I'm happy for her. This is great. And then, ooh, for tomorrow. Is tomorrow gonna be from... Is it gonna be Nymph, Savage, Tin Man, and Jaeyoon? I'm gonna assume? Because if that's the next bunch, I'm the most interested in the Tin Man. Because, oh, Tin Man. Tin Man, you were always an enigma. So he's gonna be fun. And then the biggest mystery to me would be Jaeyoon. Especially since your tribe is very secluded, so ooh. That'll be fun to see. Oh, you got his fancy skin. Let's see it real quick. Oh, I love it! What a distinguished gentleman! He even has a mustache and everything. I love the thought of him going out, finding a nice custom metal mustache. I'm gonna assume it's probably gonna be like a magnet and putting it on just for this outfit. Unless he normally has that, I just didn't notice. But oh, that is beautiful. Or no, he does have it. It's just more noticeable here. It blended in too well. But now it's extra shiny. No matter what though. He's a fancy boy. He got that drip. Tin Man with his aura and adorableness. Ooh, Mudrock 2, let me stare. Oops, I better go back in there real quick. Oops, oops, oops. Oh, cute! That's pretty. It's so fun seeing all of Mudrock's skins. Especially compared to, ta-da, default. And then remove the armor, bam! Like, hello, gorgeous! But that was a nice one too. Like, oh, Mudrock, as fashionable as always. I still think it's forever gonna be funny how one of the main reasons why I downloaded Arknights in the first place was because of the name Mudrock entertaining me so much. I'm like, there's a character named Mudrock? That's too funny. I need to get this game. And then afterwards, like, oh, hello, Mudrock. Hey, girl. It's like, hi, Mudrock. Thank you, Mudrock. Such great motivation, Mudrock. All for you, Mudrock. Like, thanks. She's wonderful. Oh, she wasn't even playable back then too? Dang. Okay, yeah, in this case, that's like the ultimate shock. Now I want to see Bob without the helmet. Imagine Bob's also like a beauty. Or the ultimate, like, handsome princely dude. Like, oh, that would be like the biggest shock as well. Maybe someday we can see. Oh, that'd be too funny. I want that. Fingers crossed. One of Terra's biggest mysteries, Bob's face. At least we know that Bob's doing well, especially based on that Dungeon Meshi collab. Like Bob and the farm also making some nice products. Good for you, Bob. I believe in you, Bob. Heck. Maybe Ines and Hoederer can also like work with Bob for some products at their store. It's like, hey Bob, can we work out a partnership with you? Can we get some wholesale prices? And yeah, see, since Bob visited Mudrock and Castle, Bob could make like an arrangement. That'd be fun. We're just gonna add to the even more wholesomeness. It'd be a cute headcanon. Oh, Bob, Bob, Bob. But oh man. I wonder how intense the integrated strategies is gonna be. Like, I'm hoping for the best for Ines, Hoederer, and W, or Wiš'adel. Like, seriously. Out of them, I'm rooting for their happiness the most. Like, please. Oh, and regarding Amiya? Like, oh no, did something happen to Bestie? Or is Bestie Amiya okay? Okay. Caster and guard. Just gonna look real quick. Oops. Amiya Medic module will only be after the entirety of Furnace Fable. Wow. That's interesting. Okay, afterwards for that one. Ooh, that just means it's gonna have like the biggest spoilers, huh? Oh, exciting! Woohoo! You go, Bestie Amiya. Do your thing, Amiya. Okay, that's good to know. Very, very good to know. All for you, Amiya. But oh yeah, I'm excited to prepare for tomorrow. No fear, no pain. And heck, since I ended at a decent time, I can actually look at dinner. Cause I think, right before stream, I think Dad was mentioning how he picked up some ribs and chicken. Since it's like $5 Friday here. So, I'm gonna go check that out. Or see if there's anything else. I know there's a pie in the fridge too. I'll eat the pie. But ribs sound really good right now. So that being said, thank you everyone for stopping by the stream. I hope everyone has a great rest of the day and epic gacha luck. Woohoo! The more gacha luck, the merrier. Especially since Blah didn't come home, but it's okay. There's always the next person. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. Bye bye! Truly no fear and no pain. So far until we go to the integrated strategies, then it's all fear, all pain. Hi kidding, please no.